Hey there friend, good morning and welcome to this 10-minute morning yoga practice. My name is Katie and today we're doing a nice deep stretch for your hips and your lower back. So those are two areas that can be very tight and achy and painy when you wake up. This practice is going to help to stretch out that tightness and have you feeling good for the rest of the day. So we're going to begin in Child's Pose today. If you want to take that stretch into your hips, you can have your knees nice and wide apart. Or if you prefer to focus on your lower back, you can keep your knees together. We'll reach our hands towards the front of the mat here. Rest your forehead onto the mat or onto your hands here. And just take a moment to take a few deep breaths. When you're ready to come out of Child's Pose, you can start to pull yourself up into tabletop. So wrists come below the shoulders, knees are directly below the hips. Spread your fingers wide and push yourself away from your mat. We'll warm ourselves up with a few rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, tailbone points up, belly drops down, chest comes forward, eyes look up. On your exhale, point your tailbone down, round your spine, tuck your chin to your chest, and drop your head. Do a few more like this, moving at your own pace. Each inhale takes you up, each exhale rounds you down. Coming back to your neutral spine now, walk your hands a bit more toward the front of your mat, curl your toes onto the back of your mat, lift those knees, then drag the hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Just do whatever you need to do here. You can paddle out your feet. As best you can, keep your tailbone pointed up and drop your head toward the mat. We'll drop the left heel to the mat now and start to pick your right foot up toward the ceiling, finding your three-legged dog. Keep pushing yourself away from your hands so you open up through your entire body. And if you want to open up your hips here, take a bend into that right knee and bring your right foot over towards the left side of your mat. So it's as if you're trying to touch something that's over on the left. Allow your hips to stack on top of each other and take a nice long breath in. When you're ready, start to come forward with your right foot, dropping it to the outside of your right hand. We'll drop that back knee to the mat and the top of your back foot can come onto the mat as well. So the right foot is to the outside of the right hand and it's on a 45-degree angle here, so the toes might be spilling off the edges of the mat. We've come into lizard pose, so a nice deep stretch for your hips. Take a few really big breaths in here. Now from here, you can start to heel toe this right foot all the way over to the left side of your mat and then drop your right knee onto the mat in front of you. So we're going to set ourselves up for Pigeon Pose. Both feet stay active in this pose. So flex your front foot, keep the top of your back foot pressed into your mat. Keep your hips nice and square here, so don't let them drop over to one side. And you can help yourself out here by imagining you have magnets in your feet and they're trying to pull towards each other which lifts your hips, keeping them nice and square. Now take a few long breaths here in Pigeon Pose. Open up those hips. If you want to take it a little bit further, you can always come down onto your forearms. If you are on your forearms, you can use your next inhale to bring you back to your fingertips. And we're going to break our own rule here for a moment. So you can allow yourself to sit over on your right hip. And from here, we're going to come into Shoelace Pose. So you might just watch first. If you're feeling very open in your hips, you can take this left leg, wrap it all the way around so your left foot is over beside your right hip and you've come into a full shoelace. If you're not ready to go that deep yet, that's absolutely fine. Straighten up your right leg first, then bring that left foot across. So now your left foot is in beside your right hip. So here in our half shoelace, wiggle around until you can feel both of your sit bones pressed into the mat. You can stay here with your spine nice and tall. It's going to help to open up your hips. But if you do want to take it into your lower back, you can start to exhale. Come forward and slowly drop your nose toward that top knee. Getting a nice deep stretch here into your lower body. Just take a moment to tap into all of those sensations. Send your breath down wherever it's needed the most. Start to come up back to your tall spine, and we'll just bring ourselves into a little twist here. So your left hand comes in behind your tailbone, that props up your spine then with your left arm. Right arm can come to the outside of this top leg, and we'll gently inhale to lengthen, exhale to slowly look back over your left shoulder. And when you're ready, then gently start to come back to center. We'll undo this pose and we're going to take ourselves all the way back to downward dog. So feet come back behind you, hands out in front, and then drag your hips up and back. Paddle it out now. You can release the pose using your downward dog. This time your right heel sinks down to your mat as your left foot floats up toward the ceiling. Three-legged dog. Bending your knee here, maybe stacking those hips on top of each other, reaching your left foot over to the right side of your mat. And now making your way into your lizard pose, bringing that left foot forward, planting it to the outside of your left hand. Drop your back knee, top of the back foot on the mat. So left foot is on a 45-degree angle, wrists are below the shoulders. And we're just going to stay here in lizard pose. Now you can start to make your way into pigeon, bringing your left foot over to the right side of the mat. Dropping the knee, magnetizing your feet towards each other. Remember, your hips stay lifted here. Don't drop into that left hip yet. Front foot is active. And we're just letting gravity do the work here. Again, feel free to come down if you want to take it a little bit deeper. We'll all meet back on the fingertips now. This is when you can come to sit on your left hip. And this is where we have some options. If you want to go for the full shoelace, bring that right leg around. Otherwise, we're straightening up the left leg. Now bring your right foot over to the outside of your left hip, half shoelace. Find those sit bones pressed into your mat. Inhale to lengthen and maybe exhale to fold forward. Nose encouraged towards that top knee. Coming back now up to your straight spine, taking it into your twist by bringing your right hand in behind your tailbone. Left arm can hook to that top knee and very slowly start to twist, maybe looking back over your right shoulder. You can start to make your way back, undoing yourself from this pose. You can shake off those legs. Take your feet back behind you and find your downward facing dog. So last time here, just to let your body release the pose, paddle out your feet, maybe sway your hips from side to side. Get rid of any last residues of tension. And when you're ready, you can drop those knees back down onto your mat and come to find your most comfortable way to sit. Thank you so much for practicing with me this morning. I hope you liked this practice. If you did, you can let me know by leaving a thumbs up or a comment below. I have lots more 10-minute morning yoga practices. So if you want to stay on your mat, I would definitely recommend doing one of those. Or hopefully you'll come back tomorrow and keep this good habit of morning yoga going. I also have a 10-minute meditation. If you want to check that out, you'll see it on the end screen. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, have a great day and goodbye.